get BlisstOut community. Life and color. Great music. It's your girls, Leanne. Let's get BlisstOut. Creativity, music, and wellness. And I'm flipping the tables with my dear Dr. Dylan Cutler today. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me back. I think I was the first one you interviewed weeks ago, so now tables have turned.
Yeah, and you got a nice cat mug. Show us the cat mug. I love that mug.
Yes, it looks like my little girl.
Oh my God, so cute. I love it. So community, we're flipping tables because I need somebody also to help me get out what I do, why we're doing what we're doing. And Dylan is one of my first business partners through this, and she'll be one of my closest leaders on these platforms once we have the platform in our joint ventures. And she's the first person that I interviewed also in the network. So as I flip tables over to her, she'll be interviewing me, and let's get excited to learn more about BlisstOut Network with Dylan.
Yes, so excited. So first I want to talk about, what does the BlisstOut Network and community mean to you? How did it start?
Okay, so friends, BlisstOut Network has been an ongoing journey with my business. And it all started from times of service in our community with my kiddos. So being a single mom, I had a very tough part of my journey with trusting a man throughout this process of awakening and blissfulness, who was incarcerated in 2005 for 20 years. So he was living a separate life. And I was aware of some of these things through my intuition, and then all the signs were happening. But I was just a very dedicated person. So as my children were younger, I thought, what am I going to be able to give to my children? And what type of legacy do I want to leave them? So initially, as a servant to our community with yoga, which started from losing weight in the beginning, and then moving more into community service, I further took, a process of Bhakti yoga, Hatha yoga, Tibetan Buddhism, all into a service for the pocket for my kiddos and business. And so having that balance, but still holding, the root of connecting to the self and having a connection with the higher self as, a very important part of what I do and who I am. And so originally the company was called Dreams with Latika Devi, because through my meditation and my changes with my body from a size 16 to a size 8, I became very receptive, and I started connecting more with nature, and I started being more open and available to ancient mysteries and the ancient mysteries of the universe and the divine. Also being born in a very strong Catholic family, it was difficult because I didn't really have the opportunity to explore. So obviously we want to explore everything that we're not allowed, and just being available, and losing that weight really helped a lot. So that's where I became more receptive. And about age 15 to age 18, I went through a huge shift in becoming a vegetarian. That was one of the bigger steps. And then the wisdom to follow through is where I led myself through a life of ashram living and further dedicating service to the community and putting on events. And those events started at the temples, where I would serve with the teams, putting on shows, putting on plays, then writing in newspapers, and then also going on TV, interviewing for fashion events. And that's when it became more business, from teaching yoga and being yoga certified, then to doing PR and media, and then being a voice for the community. Mainly the voice was consciousness, but it was also upliftment, and then also events with creative artists and creativity. So BlisstOut changed from Dreams with Latika Devi because it came from visions and dreams with a name that was given me to it by a guru. And then finally, through many years of sadhana and meditation, it changed into BlisstOut, which means, the subtotal of the soul and the feeling and the emerge with samadhi in your bliss state from all the yoga and all this sadhana, but with totality. So it was a teaching of Zen and how to get out there and be you. how to accept yourself, because you do all this deep inner work, and then how to reflect that from the gift of samsara into the gift of nirvana, of these words that I learned through teaching yoga and being a yogini, and then the blessings of my Zen master, which I received through initiation in 2011. And getting out there was also the enso, which means enlightenment, connecting with your eternal self. And so that's where, I was able to use the method of totality to overcome my mind. Yoga helped me to understand my mind by using meditation and motion, slowing the mind down, holding postures. And then all of the Zen methods and dynamic methods allowed me to do all the cathartic work, clean myself out. And then for the first time in 2011, I saw my mind. I was able to really understand what my soul was and what observing and witnessing was. And then sharing that aspect and then putting an integration with business. So integrating that business aspects by promoting talent, getting joint ventures, working with Conscious Living Radio, and then putting on events after events after events every weekend. Every weekend is all about arts, even during the week, whatever we could do every season, and up to about 30 to 40 maybe events in the last 10 years with up to 100,000 people on platforms, really challenging myself to work with teams. You can't do this all on your own. And that's why BlisstOut Network is here, is because I've learned from all that. I've been challenged by one of my best friends, Andrew Resmer, who owns Conscious Living Radio and Conscious Living Network in Vancouver. He's served this community for so long, challenged me now to lead. And the network has been the blessing of COVID, offering an opportunity from my challenges into what do we do with this time? How do we transform this time into a better possible version of ourselves? How not to give up on life, how to use these methodologies to serve our pockets, also to maintain, and then for a better outcome with consciousness and creativity and happiness.
Absolutely. I love that. From the very beginning of about a year ago, I remember we were talking and we were like, how can we keep showing up and connecting with people, because they need us a lot right now. We all need each other. So I think that's what you do so well, is just connect people. So that brings me to your mission. What is your mission, and your business and how you lead your daily life?
Well, the mission was something that I realized is a subtotal of what I've learned. And it's the mission of what I follow myself every day, so that I can reflect that in the community, in the network, with creativity, music, and wellness. So the mission is to master, reflect, and inspire humanity by sharing wisdom and methodologies that enliven, enrich a deeper connection and alignment with the soul. And that's the eternal connection. So as I was able to gain that through, now it started when I was 15, I'm 43 on the 25th this year. I've got over 25 years of sadhana. And, sometimes you can advance very quickly, and that takes one moment. And then sometimes 25 years of that advancement in different aha moments lead you more into understanding why this path opened for you in this mystery school of life. And so now that I'm here in the service, is that I've seen the importance of the growth. I've seen the importance of, first of all, understanding myself and having some truth and love to be able to trust and share for myself, first to trust myself, so that the impact of what I duplicate daily can help somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, that's my biggest why with this mission, was to take that service that I did to myself, to take all these lessons of being a single mother and being a mother and a father, and like breaking through walls constantly and being courageous enough to listen to my inner guidance once I figured that out in meditation, and to put it into action. But this has been a process, having visions, being clairvoyant, awakening my third eye in 2007, and all this stuff, which is all internal. And a lot of people know that it's a process. But when you come alive, show up, be grateful. And that's what I want to do more and more and more. I want to be contagious. I want, when I'm not contagious, to understand how to be in the valley. And I want to make as many peaks and climb as many mountains as I can with the grace of energy that I have every day.
That's so beautiful. And I know that part of that is being vegan. We're both vegan. And I'm curious how that came to be and how you make it a part of your business.
Well, being vegan, first of all, like I said, was losing weight in the beginning when all this awakening happened for me. Started at 15. And then by the time I was like 17, 18 in high school, I'd already lost 8 sizes. I'd always been a very, my father always called me an angel for a reason. I figured that out 25, years into meditation, what that really meant with ascension, and to really be able to tap into the angelic realms and to trust that, but those words that are put into you and instilled into you as a child, are in the subconscious. And I was always a pure, kind, loving person. The best of my parents, I took the best of them. They were still growing and learning. They still are, right? What I couldn't get from them, I had to really understand. And yoga was a huge part of that shift. Yoga made me so sensitive. The cardiovascular and that vibrancy really helped me to show up healthy in my body. But it was that breathing and that holding and that discipline that gave me a connection with my 6 senses. It gave me a connection with vision. It gave me a connection with the collective pain that existed. But when I was 19, this language didn't exist. I just knew things I didn't have the wisdom for. I just knew that I went in the kitchen and my mom was cooking chicken after many years of loving what my mom cooked and knowing the spices and knowing all the love that she put into it. I couldn't eat it or look at it without wanting to throw up. And so that change happened for me naturally, where I started studying Tibetan Buddhism too. And I really saw that there were values that, I wasn't taught at home. And at that time, veganism wasn't even around. So it was vegetarianism. I was getting vegetarianism from old scriptures of what I was getting drawn to, whether I was going to a crystal store where I was connecting with angels, or whether I was going to a bookstore where I would open up books of the Dalai Lama. And then, the silence of the Tibetan Buddhism really aligned me into the ancient wisdom of bhakti yoga. So prior to bhakti, it was just yoga. And then I was called, through this Tibetan meditations, I was studying about past lives. I was called into a silent place one morning. And my sister had a picture from a Hare Krishna temple in Toronto because she was studying Hinduism at that time. We weren't allowed to have it at home. I mean, we weren't allowed to have any other faith but Christianity or Catholicism. But we were rebels, we would go out and we would have fun with it. So my veganism was first my spiritual journey, where Hare Krishnas actually became a part of like selling books on the street, and they gave me one. And I was like, oh, that's what I need. I wasn't interested in anything else. I was like, okay, that's good. I'm doing yoga, I'm doing hairdressing and blah, blah, blah. But then my Tibetan Buddhism led me to a day where I was sitting in silence and I was just doing yoga, and something within me said, sit. And I said, okay. And I started to experience my energy, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, wow, this is powerful. It's like silent, but it's powerful. And then I had this picture from my sister that was on a wall, and I had an aerial sound that came to me to ask me to look. And I was looking, look. And for the first time, I never noticed in that picture, the flute that was in Krishna's hand. And so a lot of, my vegetarianism came from my spiritual journey to study Eastern philosophies, and then to practice these yogas, bhakti yoga, hatha yoga, gyan, the Sanskrit, chanting and singing and immersing myself so deeply. And I did that for about a decade. And then cleaning these temples and then going out. But then that's where my life shifted. I was in the wrong relationship. This person ended up in prison. There was walls, but I was not going to give up. And I knew what I was getting from that light and that service and those methodologies and that type of yoga. There was something way powerful happening to me that I wanted to share. And I thought I knew it all. But I didn't, because as time has grown with me through every religion and through every door that I've opened, I keep ascending, and every day is new and it's constant rebirth. So veganism, where we are right now on the planet, is the change that we all need to go through. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've had the opportunity to see what losing weight did, first of all, to be healthy. And naturally, we go more towards vegetables and plant-based food. How that made me feel was one way, to show me truth. Then what it did for my consciousness, how I become receptive to my psychic abilities, to my clairvoyance, to seeing the future before it happened. And believe me, I have predicted every child in my family before they're born through dream states and through higher states of consciousness. My whole family can vouch for it. What I want to see with veganism is that the more that we are receptive and sensitive to animals, to plants, and respectful, we can connect into our higher states of consciousness. And so other masters before me that I've seen in my lineages of meditation have given me methodologies to help that. And I really believe veganism and meditation are hand in hand. It's a connection, it's a sensitivity, it's an understanding of how to master the mind, but also to see the global things that are going on in the world and how we all need to farm, how we need to go simple again, and how we need to be courageous, powerful women, like all the other courageous, powerful women in other countries who are feeding our countries. We need to contribute. We need to contribute to climate change. We all know it. And I'm open and available through all of what I've learned to meet people like you, Dr. Dylan, who are serving veganism in this earth, who are educating people based on the knowledge that you went to school for. And for the other dimensions of life that go along with veganism is how to live a good life, how to thrive in this body, how to be blissful, get blissed out. Mm-hmm. And so this is, this is why I'm vegan, is that consciously I awoke. We're going through a change and a shift in time, space, and the awokeness, I humbly reflect to anybody watching this, is never ending. What I thought I knew then, I know new now. But it keeps getting better the more that you practice your meditation, and the more that you're eating a clean diet, and the more that you think good thoughts to yourself, and that you repeat good things to yourself. So this is what BlisstOut's all about. I want to see more of what moves within our goodness, our creativity, our art, our singing, our mastery, and all those dimensions, and to share it and to connect to the center with each other and help each other thrive.
I love that. So how would someone work with you, or why would they work with you, and who are you looking for? Like artists or brands or vegan brands? What are you about?
Well, right now with the BlisstOut Network, we've already had 6 months prior, like through the COVID. Now we're over 1 year, right? So we started off by giving some free meditations to figure things out. I was challenged by Andrew Resmer, one of my buddies at Conscious Living Radio. He's like, you know what, Leanne, it's time for you to use your power and start integrating it. So through working full time in a job to just pay my bills, part-time, I'm filling gaps right now with my network. And that also came from a download. So my download was to get it started. And Dylan, you were the first person to help me with this. And everybody should check out Dylan's page. Everybody should really see the beauty in the work, that if you want to go vegan, don't judge yourself and don't be hard on yourself. But she's a doctor that has great wisdom and answers to help you through this process. And she can advise you on the best of wisdom that she's learned from other doctors and other ways to help support you in your best possible way you can. And that's really important to me with this vision. Where we were then, and then I took us into the first mini fest, because I was like, well, how am I going to do my festivals that I want to do once a year? I've just got to start something in my download. And prior to doing my website, I'm like, well, what services do I really want to integrate right now through COVID that I know that I can provide people is where COVID is changing us. So I went through that shift of going back into my yoga, going back into the meditations, knowing that the healthy mind that I developed and the mastermind techniques that I want to offer, they're coming in my future website right now that we're in the midst of doing. And I just interviewed Denzel prior to this video. And then bringing, this platform was trust my inner guidance. How did I learn about my inner guidance? Through meditation. My inner guidance says, do. There's a lot of people coming, work with them, open up the doors and trust. And that made me to build joint ventures. We now have over 15. No, now, sorry, I thought it was 14. It was actually 16 joint ventures. And I learned that from Andrew Resmer by putting on platforms with Tony Robbins. I put it on with him. I put it on with all these speakers. We did Deepak Chopra shows. I've been helping a lot of people, but I've been learning and I've been listening. And I'm integrating that right now. And we've got these things started. Vegan products are my focus, vegan only, not interested to promote anything else because Mother Earth needs it, climate change needs it, and it's time. So all vegan vendors, if you're out there, if you have a chance to see this video, whether it's on my page, any other page, Dylan's page, we want to work with you and we want products to talk about in our events and we want to join hands because the stronger we are together, the better it is for Mother Earth. And if we know we only have 60 years, let's make it better every day. I want to live with totality. BlisstOut's all about totality. It's all about using the best, the peak and the valleys, but coming together. So yeah, so moving with this BlisstOut Mini Fest, we had our first one in December. We're moving into the next one, April 25th. And the reason why I want to get these interviews out is the podcast allows me not only to have the speakers that were going alone, but have more information by connecting, with a tag team right here. Me and Dylan are able to bounce information that I may not be able to give you alone. And that's why the podcast has started. It's another phase. It's phase 5. We've been working through these phases. I'm excited also about what's to come with us colliding with books. Dylan's got a book. She's got her ebook online, and you guys can DM her and add her to Instagram, add her to Facebook, LinkedIn, and likewise you can add me too. But the books will be the essence of these podcasts. So using totality, using time wisely is my rule of thumb. And somebody that just aligned with me has already, one of the new business ventures, he's already written 12 books. He's already published 12 books, but he needs the strong voice and connector like I am. So he'll be able to help us. It's going to help Josh. Josh was one of the first people who said that he needs to write a book right now. That podcast will be coming up with him too. And then feeding the musicians into a beautiful venture with methodologies that these musicians have while I continue to master my voice, while I also continue to use all of these tools to live a fulfilling life. And that totality that I'm living every day and I'm able to reflect in the network alongside with all these joint ventures is why BlisstOut's here. It's a teaching of Zen. It's a totality method that you can thrive when you wake up and choose to master your mind. And the methodologies are there to enliven you.
Absolutely. I love it. One thing that I get from you, every day is self-love and how you truly love yourself. And I wanted to hear a little bit about how did you grow this self-love? Your love for yourself is so strong and it's always growing and shaping and shifting. So what does that self-love mean to you?
Well, where I am right now and what I want to keep as my mantra, 2 things that are really important to me. I'm a hopeless romantic. And I've learned that part of my human quality, my spirituality and my ascension, that keeps me knowing once you light that core part of yourself and you're able to understand your mind and you know what the soul is and you're able to tap into information that helps you to actually see the future and how to be patient with how existence molds you. I'm still that Leanne Campbell that was born in the hands of Teresa and Brian Campbell. And I respect both. I respect my ascension because I'm still affected by the states of my unconscious at times, my subconscious. I'm still I have blissful moments where I'm so in bliss that I feel fully enlightened. And I know where I am. I've done this work and I've listened to the masters and I've been in this sadhana process for my enlightenment. But I know when my mind takes control and I allow myself to believe it. So I believe that I'm able to learn the power of falling in love with myself, even when I don't. And I've learned that when I fall in love with anybody else, that I first have to give it to myself. And that starts by looking at your body naked in a mirror. You don't like your stomach, and if your mind's saying you're fat, changing that thought. And putting your hands on your body, doing self-Reiki. All the methods that I share in the network and that more are coming, like yoga to give you discipline, Reiki, self-Reiki. This will all open up. Every method, I promise you, opens up when you start working with dynamic breathing. When you work with dynamic breath and you slow that breath down into a state where you can relax and then calm it down and then open it and then calm it down, it shows you action and inaction. And it allows you to be diverse in acceptance. And then from there, when your inner voice opens up that other part of you that allows you to trust in your dream and that your dream had a truth. So many people used to say I was crazy about what I would see in my visions, yet I predicted every child in my family before they were born. And I knew what they looked like because I was able to trust my intuition. I was able to learn how to watch my breath so I could learn how to watch my dreams. And I learned how to fly in my dreams. So I not only thrive in my day, I thrive in my dreams, but I allow my body to relax. And so falling in love with yourself is the intention to appreciate this miracle of life and your gift of life. Rising in love with yourself is the acceptance that you're rising into your ascension. And whatever these words mean for you, you'll know it. I've been able to trust languages that I couldn't even understand, like Sanskrit. And I used to chant these chants. The outcome of singing a chant like Om Namah Shivaya, for example, or Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, or Hallelujah. They had times and places with religion to empower us back to our pure conscious state, but they are not divided because masters have come to me to show me oneness. And I want to be a part of collectively allowing this vast consciousness, which is unlimited, which is eternal, to be explored. So I'm very careful about judgment. First of all, by falling in love with myself, then rising in love with myself. And sharing that as much as I can. And when I'm down, the joy of this work, when you're down and you're able to lift others, somebody's going to find you quickly. And it happens because you have trained yourself so much to listen to your true self, your inner guidance. You are love. And anything else that we need to be able to unshed the onion, it unsheds. So that's my fall in love with self-love.
I love that. That's amazing. So where can people find you to work with you?
So working with me right now, I'm working on my new website. So my focus and my dedication and my service is to these BlisstOut online festivals. You want to work with me, just contribute by going and liking BlisstOut Network on Facebook right now. Come into the network, get to know the people I'm working with. This is about coming together in community, but also a bigger vision of collective oneness. The other aspects of working with me will be coming with holistic business consulting, where I'll share methodologies that have helped me to be able to hear my inner guidance. And I'll be sharing those soon with more yoga and dynamic meditations from my Zen master. I'll have a marketplace for things that I love with my art, like painting, jewelry design, singing, and all the other artists that can come into the marketplace that I promote, because I believe we can do this together and we can help each other. We all need a network, especially where COVID is and where we've been restricted and only being able to connect. Is that now is the time to grow together. Now is the time to farm together. Now is the time to learn together. And those gifts of samsara, of bliss and anand, satchitananda, into nirvana, of heart to heart, human to human. The more that we do our work on ourselves, we have the ability to hold space for the other human that's in front of us. And because we're really connecting to our true self, easily it heals the person that's in front of us. And easily those healing modalities can become a light onto the earth for each other.
I love it. Yeah, it's so true. I've seen that in myself. When I heal my wounds, I am much more capable as a healer and a healthcare provider.
Yeah. And you have so much to offer. I love that I was able to be just as trusting. Now, this all came from trusting my gut and trusting when anybody said no and what I was telling them was wrong. I wasn't aligned with them. I had to learn about alignment. And then I also learned to have compassion for them to speed up with me. Because sometimes I had a time, when you're able to see the future and it happens, you have to accept. That's another discipline. You're ahead of time in some areas, and then you're present with time here. And we're in these dimensions of meeting with time and place and circumstances. That's why we're multidimensional. We have to come to a place in time to meet, and a time to meet in a place that gives us 4 dimensions. So imagine the dimensions that exist alone when you fall asleep and you're able to tap into more. And that's what I keep doing. I learned it from my masters, and I want to be able to shed more light on what it means to go through enlightenment and having methodologies for the mind.
Well, thank you for chatting with me today and sharing your light. You always leave me feeling uplifted and like I need to go chase my dreams and do what I know I'm supposed to do on this earth. And I think that is one of your purposes for being here.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a part of this dream, coming together and being such a strong advocate for veganism. That is what the world needs, and you have mastered it. And I'm grateful for what we have to come with our podcast. I'm coming with the book I'm writing, 69 Shades of Hay. It's going to be given opinions and doctor directions also in my recipes so that we can go deeper in making sure that more vegans are able to eat their best, know about their digestion, and with insights from a very good friend and beautiful human in front of me, Dr. Leanne Cutler.
Amazing. I'm excited.
So much to come, guys. Get tapped in April 25th, 2021. We got all these speakers coming. There's more information in this next month of their videos. I'm going to be blasting their videos of the interviews I've already done with them. We're going to have their promo videos coming up today. I'll be organizing all that, all their little insights, why we should all work together and help each other with small businesses, because small businesses help us thrive. The bigger businesses have kept us together till now, but small businesses keep us community focused, keep us loving, and keep us creating. So on that note, get blissed out. Make sure you get tapped in, not only to me on Instagram and Facebook and the BlisstOut Network. Check out Dr. Dylan. She's amazing, and we love you.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
Thank you.
Bye.